Welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to a beautiful summer's day here at Selhurst Park. The sun is out, blue skies. It's stunning. I mean, this is English summer. This is what we love about it, Laurie.
Amazing, isn't it? Yesterday, people walking around t-shirt, shorts. Now today's pouring down the rain. But luckily for me, I did actually check what the weather was going to be like before I came down here. So I've got my AFTV hooded top, so I'm all right.
That's good of you. I mean, I'm holding the umbrella, so I'm glad you came prepped. It is Crystal Palace versus Arsenal on the Monday night, 8 p.m. kickoff UK time. Listen, we've showed up in this weather. Arsenal, you better show up. That's what we're going to talk about here in this preview, because there's been a lot of off-field issues. Yes, both teams picked up 3 points. There's been off-field things that I think are going to maybe somewhat have a little bit of an impact. We're going to talk about this whole, Selhurst Park on a Monday night. It is the 25,000-seater ground here. Arsenal have a weird record under Mikel Arteta. He opened with a draw here in his first season, that first half of the season. Aubameyang getting a goal and a red card in that game. We then ended up winning a 3-1 defeat in that kind of lockdown period. That was kind of, strange time. We were playing football before the end of the season. Fans were starting to come back. Roy Hodgson's last game. Hodgson is back as Palace manager, so Arteta will be facing him again. We did lose 3-0 in the Champions League run-in, but beat them 2-0 here in the opening day of last season. So once again, like last year, playing them as the opening away game of the season. Laurie, Cess, let me ask you, going to touch on it first with you, Cess. You've been a player, maybe not to Premier League level, but you've been a player.
Correct.
Talk to me. What is it, Selhurst Park, Monday night? Why do we care so much? Why would we rather this was a 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff?
I think, listen, Selhurst Park as a stadium and when it's in its pomp, like it's a rocking stadium. It's quite intimidating.
Is it a stadium?
I'm not going to say anything about it not being a stadium.
Just remember who said what, yeah?
Yeah, just remember everyone. And the fact that, I'm not going to, it's a stadium. It definitely is a stadium. I'm going to be here Monday night, so I'm not going to disrespect it.
Ground.
So it is a nice ground, it is. And they've made massive improvements on, their training facilities and whatnot. But if we're going back to why it's, for me, quite intimidating is their fans are always loud. They're rocking.
Sorry, you're well and truly under that umbrella, aren't you?
Apologies. There we go.
Carry on.
There we go. Like I said, it's going to be rocking. It's Monday night. It's also the fact that it's as well. The fact that it's the last game, of the weekend. Everyone's going to have their eyes on us. Everyone had their games done. They're going to be watching this game. There's a lot of pressure there. I keep mentioning it again. It's raucous here at Selhurst Park, and I don't know, I feel like, they're always physical. They always are intimidating. They've got a lot of, when Zaha was here, they've got a lot of players to, worry about when it comes to sort of ability, technical ability. I know they've got Elise, he's staying, whether he'll feature or not is another question due to coming back off injury. Eze, a great player, South London, technical ability, very good with his feet, can cause Arsenal a lot of problems. Odsonne Edouard as well. They've just got a lot of players that, I think can cause Arsenal some problems. That's why I think it's always been tricky here, coming down to Selhurst Park. Again, another London derby as well. And I've enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed this fixture. I'll be completely honest. And I'm going to enjoy it Monday. Obviously, they got Mateus Franco. I don't think he's going to play as well. I believe he's not available as well due to... I think it's due to injury or due to not being available for this match. But he's another exciting young player just coming in from Brazil. I've heard a lot about him. They're supposed to be, the Wolf of Zaha replacement. I did want to see him. He's probably not going to play. But they have a lot of players that are exciting at Crystal Palace, so I'm looking forward to the game. But I think that's why it causes a lot of problems is, the fans and whatnot, and it's Selhurst Park.
They're loud. They create a real atmosphere. I've never actually been inside Selhurst Park. You have been.
Yeah, a few times,
It can be quite tight. It looks, at least on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd there on top of you, they make a real noise. And on a Monday night, like you said, their first home game of the season, like it was last year. But Arsenal responded well to that last season. And I think one of the things they did really well, Laurie, is they stepped up to the physical battle, because you can get bullied here. Yes, they've got real technicians. Doucouré, great on the ball. Eze as well. But they can really get on top of you as well, not just as an atmosphere, as a fan base, but the players physically can make that difficult for you. Arsenal responded to that very well. And they're going to have to do the same, because Arteta's building a team of 6 foot plus, players across the pitch that are expected to be able to deal with this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Palace, very good team, as Cecil said, very energetic, very lively, very physical. And like Cecil said, he mentioned the crowd, it's going to be raucous. And we've got to be ready for it, man. And let's be honest, our Monday night form is not that good. I think we've had Mikel Arteta's 4 Monday night games, and I don't think he's won one. I think he might have lost all 4, if my research is correct. But listen, I'm expecting a hard-fought game, a well-contested game. and this will not be a walk in the park. And I might be in a minority here, but I wasn't overly convinced with our performance last week. I think we're going to have to step it up.
I want to touch on that, Laura.
Okay,
Sorry to cut you, because no. Following on from that, because we won 2-1, they won 1-0 at Sheffield United. So I don't think either team sort of, put down like a statement win, like the Newcastle win against Villa. But what we did see was them getting a good away performance, Arsenal scoring a couple goals and larger controlling. So I think both will be feeling quite good going into this in terms of their form levels. And apparently Arsenal beat Luton in a behind closed doors friendly as well. So they've managed to get some more sort of match fitness into the legs, which is needed.
We won last week. We were the better team. That is not in dispute. Where I had a slight issue is that although we had a lot of possession of the ball, I think we lacked a bit of cutting edge. In the second half, I think we tailed our intensity off a little bit. We can't afford to do that here because these guys will be on our case. London derby, Monday night, these guys will be coming. You know what I mean? It's their first home game of the season. I think I'm also correct in saying that Roy, since he took over, I don't think they've lost a match at home in the Premier League.
Oh, wow, okay.
So listen, this will be a formidable test for us. Obviously, one I think we can pass, but we have to be on it. If we're even a little off, I think it could spell problems.
Did you see Roy getting in a scrap on the touchline?
Well, that's the kind of fire that he will imbue in his players, I'm sure. So if the ball does go out for a throw-in, you've got to be careful when you ask Roy for the ball back.
Tread carefully. I can't believe they're saying Arteta was the reason why they brought in all these new rules. And I'm seeing Pep Guardiola shoving cameras, Klopp's pulling hamstrings, running up to officials, and Roy Hodgson's getting to scraps on the touchline. But there you go. It's anyway. Listen, let the managers be passionate. I talked about off-field issues there. At the start of this video, because Arsenal have had the injury to Urian Timber. I'm going to touch on injuries and stuff, and there's going to be a Predict 11 video as well. Everyone look out for that. But the injury to Urian Timber is one thing. On the other hand, Palace are keeping Michael Olise, who they thought they were going to lose success. And then Doucouré, though, is sort of subject to a potential move to Liverpool. It's just kind of all happening in the background, and I can't imagine the transfer window being open at the same time as a season starting can help when you're going into these games.
Yeah, I've listen, the off-field stuff I think is actually going to have a big impact on this game. I think the fans of Palace are going to be ecstatic that at least they stay in. It's going to really
reinvigorates it,
100%, and he's going to probably be here, whether he plays or not, he's going to be here, and that is going to lift them up. On the contrasting view from Arsenal, we've had terrible news of Urian Timber, and if you look at Mikel Arteta, the way he speaks about Urian Timber, he did an interview with TNT last week. He speaks so glowingly about him before the injury, and the way he's so versatile when he can play on both sides. And I can see just from that interview how much he's excited to have Urian Timber at Arsenal. Obviously now he's going to be out for a long time. It has affected the fan base, I believe, because I think he's the most exciting signing that we've had this window so far. I know Declan Rice. I had a lovely conversation with him the other day. Of course I'm there. Listen, a lot of fans have to sneak it in there. I know a lot of fans are going to want to, look at that and say he's the big money signing, he's the one that everyone's going to be excited about. But I think a lot of us were excited from what we saw, the performances from Urian Timber. So we're going to be going into this game a bit down. I think Arteta's going to have to really work out what he's going to do. I did speak to fans this week around the Emirates about what they think he's going to do. A lot of people mentioned Kivior, and I know you're going to do a Predict 11 video, so I'm not going to take too much away from that. But I think Kivior's a good option because of physicality coming to Crystal Palace, coming here to South Wales on Monday. You need strong physical players. I think people took away from Tierney and Zinchenko and said we need, muscle there and people that are up for the fight. So that'll be interesting to see what Mikel Arteta goes with. But the off-field things I think will affect us. I think they will reinvigorate Palace, but I think they will affect us. But hopefully it won't be too much that we're going to, not get a result here come Monday.
The last thing I want to touch on before we just touch on the injury news as well is, and I don't have to almost say this, but when you're the players and you're a young group, right? Something that Man City will be used to is doing it again. It feels like we were only just here talking about Palace away, opening game of the season. Can we shake off that 3-0 defeat the months before? And we're back here already again, sort of, can we beat Palace? And I think the point I'm trying to make is, football comes thick and fast and it's kind of relentless. And these young players, not that long ago, would have felt like they got through the Palace win. They got through that big test on the Friday night at Selhurst Park. That Saliba debut, you know, the Martinelli goals, Zinchenko doing his thing, Jesus leading the line. They've got to go do it again. And that's another test that's going to come this season for these players. It's about going, the games come thick and fast, and you have to keep coming to these places and keep doing it. Beating them once isn't enough. We're here. It is 12 months later, but it doesn't feel like that long ago, and they're going to have to repeat the performance.
Absolutely. Listen, the Premier League, we know it's relentless, it's intense, and that's why people love it, you know. So the players, they have to get used to this. It's a cauldron, and on Monday night, I don't expect any different. It's good, like I said, it's going to be, you know what I mean? I was going to use a phrase there, but I probably won't.
I've got to say, though, we should be able to take it to Crystal Palace, and I know this is Cecil, be careful, don't be too confident and whatnot. But like, I saw them against Sheffield United, and listen, we got to be aware of their counter-attack. They scored a similar goal to what Nottingham Forest scored against us, actually. So we sharp on the counter. We just got to be resolute at the back. And I know with Jurgen Timber being out, that is a bit of a worry now. But Mikel Arteta, when they were in training, I know he's heavy on relationships. He's heavy on absolute fine detail. Declan Rice said it. He said, you literally go into a game with everything stacked with what you need to do. It's literally down to you.
Didn't tell you that, yeah?
No. We had a great
FaceTime is a beautiful thing.
Big up Declan, but he said that, you know, that they're completely ready for fixtures and for matches when it comes to game day. So it's all down to the player, and I feel like Palace, listen, are a good side. They're a side that can cause us problems, but we should really be able to get this game over the line 100%. And if you want to be title contenders again, you have to come here and get a win. We saw it last season. You have to continue that. City have got without De Bruyne now. I don't think it's going to affect them, if I'm honest. And I feel like that's how people should be looking at Arsenal. We're not with Timber, but that shouldn't affect us.
I think you touched on something there tactically. Listen, we don't know until the game starts, obviously, but I would imagine that Arteta will go with his 4-3-3. I would imagine that we will have the majority of the possession in the game. I would expect, even though Palace are at home, they'll probably adopt a more counter-attacking style of play. But nevertheless, it is going to be intense, and we will have to press high. And when we get the ball, we're going to have to, be positive and try and create chances, because it's all on the line, right?
Yeah, completely agree. Just to touch on that injury news, we do know that surgery for both Jesus and Jurgen Timber. Jesus was more of a clean-up from a problem recurring from his knee injury last season, but he is expected to be back fairly soon. But the Palace game, I think, will have come too soon for him. We do know that Zinchenko got some significant minutes behind closed doors in a friendly against Luton, and he's been in training for a while, so we expect him to be fit. There's going to be a predicted 11 video after this, where we'll discuss whether Zinchenko should actually start this game. And of course, Jurgen Timber, who we know is out for anything between 6 to 7, maybe 8 months as well. Very, very slim chance he even plays before the end of the season. But go check out Transfer Daily for any updates on whether Arsenal actually go into the market to try deal with this short-term situation. Say short-term. It's for the season. We'll have Timber back from all of next season. But do Arsenal address it in some way, shape or form? Let's get some predictions in. Tess.
Listen, you mentioned that Arsenal haven't won, or under Arteta haven't won on a Monday in the last 4. Blue Mondays, but I want to change to a red Monday, and Arteta's very good at, breaking these traditions or curses, shall we say. So I'm going to go over, people said 2-0 win. I think we will concede. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
Okay, I can't remember what I said on Forever Arsenal. I think I'll go 2-1. I think that's what I said.
2-1?
Yeah, 2-1's normally quite a safe bet if you're a Arsenal fan. You're predicting these games. But listen, I do think 2-1 does sound feasible. Without, knowing the team, I think if Havertz plays, this is a big game for him because there are some fans, has to be said, they remain to be convinced. I know it's very early, but games like this are where he will need to show. So I'm actually backing him, maybe even to get a goal.
Okay, nice.
In this game.
We are usually,
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, we are usually good away. So hopefully we can continue that from last season. But one thing I want to see from Arsenal, and I'm going to have to make this very clear, if we go up 1 or 2, let's please keep on their necks and go kill off the game. I can't see what we saw at West Ham. I can't see what we saw at Liverpool. I can't see what we saw last week. I need to see that ruthlessness from Arsenal, especially on Monday and against a good Palace side. So that is one thing I'll definitely be looking out for come Monday.
I should have said I'm backing Eddie to get the other one as well.
Eddie and Havertz. I'm not sure they even start. But we're going to talk about that in the predicted 11.
Start to score.
We're going to talk about this all on the Predict 11 show. It's coming out very, very soon, so keep an eye on the channel. Just subscribe to AFTV, hit the bells, and you will get alerted to any uploads. Of course, we're keeping you covered throughout the weekend before we play on the Monday night. We'll see you very soon. Big thanks for supporting the channel. See you in a bit.